Hey friends, welcome to this video where we are going to transition my Blue Sky account from the standard hosted Blue Sky service onto my own personal PDS that I'm going to run. And I'm going to do this not from like my last video where I was running that on a Raspberry Pi at my house, because I've been doing that for a little while and I've had second thoughts. One of those second thoughts is this has been going down more often than I would have liked. There's been a series of things, some of them taken down for a little bit of time, some of them taken down for a little bit longer, usually while I'm not at home. There's been something where I've been out traveling, I was running errands, whatever, and in one case the power went out on my home router, which then brought down my network, and so my PDS was offline. There was another situation where the power went off for the Raspberry Pi itself, and in general I've had more downtime than I expected. So I'm going to run this from a server, a virtual private server that is going to be hosted in a proper data center on a proper cloud service. And I'm going to do this on OVH Cloud, not because they're sponsoring, not because I even have ever run anything on them before, but because the price is right. And I've heard a lot of good things about them. And so for around $5.50 a month, I'll be able to run a virtual private server. And this is more than I actually need, but I still want to be able to put some of the things I had in my last video, like monitoring and some metrics and whatnot, so I can get that information out of the machine and not have to worry about choking it if it's like a 1-core, 1 gig of RAM sort of box. So I am going to give it a little more resources. I'm going to spend a little bit more money. I'll probably also use this for other things in the future, but it just gives me a VPS outside of my home internet's not reliant on my power or network. So I'm going to speed run a setup of a server on OVH and get the PDS installed. I'm not going to go into all the details of monitoring and whatnot that I have in my other video. So if you want to see those steps, go ahead and check that one out. But we will go ahead and get this set up, and then we're going to do an account migration from the standard Blue Sky servers where they host the PDSs to this one that I'm going to build. And just FYI, right now, you can't change back. If you want to run this on a self-host, if you want to move your main accounts, you can't move your main account back yet. They have said that they're going to enable that in the future, but for now, this is a one-way ticket out of Blue Sky, not out of Blue Sky the network, but out of Blue Sky as a hosting service. So if you decide, oh, this is too expensive, or I don't want to do that anymore, I don't want to be responsible, that's fine. You don't have to be responsible, but you can't move back yet. So you're going to have to run it for a little while until they enable that. I hope they enable that sometime in 2025, but we'll see. For me, it's going to be okay. I think like I said, I've been running this already. I know the steps. I know what to back up. I know how to recover from this sort of thing if something's happened. So I'm comfortable enough with running a PDS that I just want to go ahead and try doing it. And I want to show you how to transition the account. So if you just want to see the account transition, you can skip ahead in the chapters. But otherwise, let's speed run a server setup and a PDS install on top of OVH Cloud. I just signed up for an account and I'm in OVH Cloud. I look for virtual private server and I'm selecting the 2-core, 2 gig of RAM, 40 gigabytes NVMe. And this should be all right. And so we are going to do a distribution only. I only want to use the distribution. I'm going with Debian. I'm kind of sick of Ubuntu at this point. It's been a little while. I've been using it for quite some time. I'm over it. And I don't really like the container utilities that are in the enterprise Linux distros, all of the Podman stuff. It's not really my thing. So I'm going to go with good old Debian, trusty Debian that gives me pretty much everything I want. One of them, I'm going to put it in Oregon. Same price, just because it's closer to me on the West Coast. I'm not going to worry about backups here because I'm going to take my own backups that are going to come back to my house as I set those up. I don't need any additional storage at this point. And I'm going to go ahead and stick with just the monthly subscription because I don't actually know. My goal is to keep this for a full year. 8% savings, not all that much. I get basically a month free. But I'm just going to go with the standard monthly, continue. All right. So that's interesting. I placed my order and now I have to wait. All right. Again, I've never used OVH Cloud. Within 24 hours seems a bit odd, but let's go into let's check my email and see what we got. All right, here we go. That took a whole like 3 or 4 minutes. I stopped the recording. I checked my email, refreshed a couple times, and then here it came through. Said it's all activated and I'm ready to go. And so I have a IP address. It's available online. I had a link to generate a password, and they told me to log in with Debian. So let's go ahead and log into this. Debian at. Sure, we trust this. Of course we trust it. Let's get that password that was generated, current password, and a new password. Perfect. Always suggest updating your distribution, make sure your packages are up to date. And again, I'm going to run through all of the steps I did in my last video to make sure that I can monitor this. I'm going to set up the automatic updates. I'm going to close down SSH on this one. I don't need to open ports, obviously, or at least I don't need to open ports in my firewall. I need to make sure that ports can be open in OVH Cloud. I don't know how that works. I don't know if they have something like security groups, but I need to make sure that the ports for the PDS are available and can be scraped. So ever since the beginning of time, I have used this git.docker.com.io. I think they're the same for installing Docker on servers. It just makes getting the upstream community edition version of Docker easy. It works on pretty much every distribution. I don't have to worry about whatever's in the package manager or install the things that's usually aren't there. It's just been nice. I've been using it for, like I said, a decade now. It is ingrained in my muscle memory, and I will keep using it. So now we have Docker installed. And now we can go over to the PDS distribution and we can find the installation. So just like in my last video, I'm going to go ahead and copy this command, which downloads the installer script. I am going to reuse the same domain name that I had for my other PDS. So I'm going to be taking down that other PDS when I create this one. I'm going to say pds.justingarrison.com. And this is doing the same steps it did before, where it's downloading the Docker Compose file, it's turning it into a systemd units, and then it's going to be running it and configuring it. Part of the PDS transition is actually making an account on the PDS first. So I need an account that exists before I can transfer all of my data to it. So we're going to go ahead and say yes to transition this, or to create an account first. And that's fun. I got an error on this one. Let's see why. Oh, probably because I haven't transitioned the DNS yet. So here I have those records in Cloudflare, and I need to update them to this new IP address. So we're going to go ahead and save that one and save this one. I already had these set up. Again, go watch my other video if you want to know how those work. But basically I need a PDS and a star.pds, so the usernames will go to the right place. Now if I dig that domain, I see I get the right place. So I don't think my account was created, but let's double check. So here I didn't get an account created like I thought. So we need to create an account. Okay, so I installed the scripts. I added to the config file the email relay, and let's go ahead and create the account. See if this works now. Could not create, turned error, create not found. Is it account create? It's account create. That's the thing we need. All right. Now we have a password. And with that password, we can log into Bluesky. So I have this machine. I'm remoted into it. It's running tmux. I have the PDS running. I have a user created. Now I need to install this migration tool. And this bluesky-account-migrator is a handy little npm command, but I'm going to need to install npm. Oh my gosh, Node, why do you have so much stuff? And in the documentation, they do say that you need to make sure you have email set up. So if you haven't set up email, make sure to look at the PDS settings here for creating or setting up SMTP. And they have some examples here. Resend and SendGrid are two they recommend. This is basically the two environment variables you need to add to the /PDS pds.env file. There are some things they tell you in the docs here as far as like you have to have your account set up on sub account. You can't have a custom accounts set up yet. And that's great for me right now. Mine is justin.pds. So I can move my domain to this account after it's been migrated, but ahead of time I cannot. So let's see how this works. Not well. This is what I had to do here to fix this issue was upgrade to node 22. Upgraded to node 22, and I think this is going to work this time. Let's try it out. We need to install the following package. Proceed. Yes. I think interactive is defaults according to that help. That's weird output to me, but let's just try it. Hey, okay, this looks good. Welcome to the migration. Enter the current PDS is yes on Bluesky Social. Enter the full current handle, garrison.com. The password input is mess. Let's go ahead and copy that one out. Invite code for the new account from the new PDS. Create invite code. Let's grab this. Very handy to have tmux at this point. So just switch back and forth between those tabs. Enter the new PDS URL. I'm assuming I need the HTTPS because they had HTTPS here. So entered the desired handle. So sudo PDS admin account delete. Oh, I need the DID. Sorry, account list. And then we will delete this one because, like I said, I think this might create one for me. So let's try it. Of course, I could type anything in there, but for some reason I feel like I'm going to forget it. Enter the desired new password for the account. Okay, cool. So this is, instead of generating a password for me, this is going to create an account with a password assigned to it. Perform the migration with these credentials. Current PDS, current handle, current password. Yes. All right. So I guess we're gonna wait. Cool. I should have timed this. I don't know how long this can take, but we'll start a timer, and we'll see. We'll see what this does. I'm assuming this might take a while. I'm gonna stop the recording and come back when this is done. Okay, so about 6 minutes into this, I get the pop-up that an old a PLC, the email token, was requested. So I check my email, throw that in here, and keep going. New account private key I need to save. Migration complete. The new account private key is that. Is that it? Now what do I do? Okay, so I think my account's migrated. What? What do I do now? Let's sign in. Other accounts. Change to custom. Oh, there's my PDS was already there. Username is going to be justin.pds.justingarrison.com. And then I used a password reset to get the password. Okay. Okay. Is my content in here? No. That's maybe not good. Oh, I didn't request a crawl. It didn't know about my, didn't know where I was. I deactivated my account. I never told it where to find me. So I'm logged in. Oh, there we go. Get started. Please verify. Yeah. Send that. Oh, no. It looks like it tried to send the request for the email confirmation, which failed. Okay, so it looks like resend, I didn't have it verified because I had other MX records that I was using to send emails. So that's why I was getting this response error. So make sure your email stuff is set up first. Let's see if I can get that prompt again to send my email. If not, I'll just sign out. Home. Please pop up for an email verification. Host name, XRPC service, status 401 message, signatures not matched, issuer. I'll reset that password once again. Next. Aha, get started. Let's see. Let's follow these logs. Send. There we go. That's how I meant sent. Okay. Let's go over to email, get that confirmation code, and see if we can confirm myself. Confirm. Please work this time. Okay, so it's been about a week since I was setting all that up. Let me tell you all the things I did wrong so that you don't have to experience them. First up was I still had my old PDS running. It was running here on the Raspberry Pi. I forgot to turn it off. The service was still on. Everything was still there. Even though DNS was pointing at a new location, it was still up and running, and the Blue Sky itself was still crawling that instance. So that was number one. Don't run two PDSs with the same sort of account information. Number two, the bad JOT token that I was seeing was because I was still logged in on my old deactivated account in multiple locations. So not only did I have a PDS running with the same username somewhere else, but I did not log out of my browser instances of the other account that was being deactivated, the one that was hosted by Blue Sky. And so by logging out of multiple browsers, again, on my desktop, but also on my phone in the app, on my tablets in the browser, wherever I was logged in, I needed to log out of those things. Eventually, when I just went to bed that night and I woke up in the morning, I could log in for a hot minute. And I was like, oh, wow, everything just works. I don't know why, but it's working now. And then that quickly went away. All of a sudden, I was like, okay, it worked for maybe 20 minutes. I wasn't getting the JOT token errors. I log in to the server, and all of a sudden, nothing was working again. And for a good half a day, I couldn't log into anything. And if I went to log in, I didn't get an error. I just, all of a sudden, the page was blank. It just would not load. Come to find out, on the new PDS server, I had some DNS problems. I had installed Tailscale, and their magic resolver, for some reason, wasn't resolving anything. And so by uninstalling Tailscale and reverting the DNS that Tailscale set up, all of my DNS started resolving again, and I could actually hit the Blue Sky endpoint. And of course, my main problem was DNS. The other thing you're going to want to make sure you have set up properly is email working. So resend wasn't working for me initially, as you saw in the video, because I had some records that resend wouldn't validate with. And so I had to make sure I cleared out the old MX records, get resend to validate so it would actually send my emails, because without the verification, you might end up with like an invalid handle at some point, which is what happened to my old PDS as it was running. And my handle never got authenticated because I never bothered setting up email. So overall, I'm glad I was able to transition my accounts, but it also wasn't as smooth as I had hoped it would be. So just beware that there are some things that are still being worked out. The migration tool did work once I got Node updated. There is another tool called Goat, which is a static binary. I did try that for a little bit, and I got a little lost in how it wanted things set up, because it also wanted to create the new account. I didn't realize that I had to delete my old account first, or the old new account, before it would transition and deactivate the one that existed on the Blue Sky servers. So now I am fully up on this new PDS running in OVH Cloud. I've set up my backups. I have set up all of my firewalls and things that I want to just have a server on the public internets. And for now, it's hosting this Blue Sky PDS for me. All of my data is going there. I could now use that for whatever I want. So if you learn 3 lessons from me, initially it's log out of the browser, don't run 2 PDS at the same time, and make sure that the server is actually working fully as you might expect with DNS and networking and everything else. A couple helpful tips also, like on the side, set up an alternative account first. Now, just like have another account that you can get into Bluesky, maybe put it in your profile, just to like be able to log into the service if you need to ask some questions. Also, the DMs on Bluesky are not part of your PDS, not currently, at least as I'm recording this. In the future, they probably will be, but for now, they're actually a separate system. So when I was able to log in as an alternate account and DM people and ask them questions like, hey, do you see my account? What's going on? Do you see anything? Because I couldn't see stuff from my main account. All I could see was my PDS logs. I could see what the browser logs were giving me in the console, and then I could see that I wasn't able to log in. So DNS exposes itself in very strange ways. So if you have transitioned your account to a self-run, self-hosted PDS server, let me know. Leave a comment, reach out on Bluesky. I'd love to hear about your experience. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you are trying it, just be aware of the couple things that I ran into. Thanks everyone, I'll see you again soon.